Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and today we'll be taking a look at some more drama-filled Reddit stories. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's begin. The first post we'll be taking a look at was created by Reddit user TA_WifeFriend. The post was created in the AITAH subreddit and is titled AITAH for not telling my wife about an incident with her best friend. I want to be very sensitive when writing it here, but I have been dealing with unbearable guilt and wanted to know if what I am doing is wrong. I really do not want to trigger anyone, but I will be writing about a very sad situation. I, 33 male, have been married to my wife, 31, for 6 years, and we have a 3-year-old kid. We are very happy together, and I am lucky to be married to a very kind and smart woman. My wife's best friend, Anna, fake name for anonymity, has been living with us for the last 6 months. I wanted to talk about Anna to give a full context of why I am making my decision. Anna has been my wife's best friend since her school days. Anna was living in the city with her boyfriend, and we live in the suburbs of that city. They seemed happy together and were in a relationship for 2 years. However, my wife noticed bruises on Anna's hand last year and asked her about it. Initially, Anna dismissed it as work-related injuries. My wife kept on probing, and we learned that Anna was in an extremely toxic and abusive relationship. Her boyfriend lost his job last year and became extremely controlling and abusive towards her. He constantly accused her of cheating, which Anna denies. He made her link her phone messenger to his computer and started micromanaging finances. There was an incident of domestic violence, which was the final straw. My wife and I had to rush to the hospital to look after Anna. Since Anna's parents are mostly absent from her life, my wife asked me if Anna could stay with us for a few days. We are 3 people living in a 4-bedroom house and have 2 spare guest rooms. I, of course, agreed to it and told her that Anna could stay with us as long as she wanted. I think the incident completely broke Anna. She would just start crying randomly and completely shut down. It was really sad to see Anna in that state. She had to leave her job due to mental issues and stayed at home in the room all day. My wife is very kind. She takes care of Anna as if she were family and ensures she feels loved. Anna is also thankful to my wife and me for helping her in her worst time. She's helping around the house and with our kid, though we never leave him alone with Anna. Anna is now getting back to normal and smiles sometimes. She has also started looking for a job again. Now, on to the incident. Last Friday, my wife and I went to work as normal and dropped our son at daycare. I had a doctor's appointment at noon and came straight home from there as I did not have much work in the office. I made some lunch and then went to my room to sit in my bed and reply to all the emails. Anna was in her room and I did not talk to her after I came home. Around 2 p.m., I heard Anna's room door open and her walking in the hallway. Suddenly, our bedroom door opened and Anna walked in topless and just in her underwear. I was shocked and not sure how long I was staring at her, but after a few seconds, she blurted out, "I am sorry," and quickly covered herself with her hands. She was apologetic and started explaining herself. She said she just wanted to borrow my wife's clothes because her laundry was unwashed. It was super embarrassing to have a conversation with her in that state, so I looked away. She again apologized and then went out of the bedroom. The incident lasted less than 2 minutes. After a while, she returned to our bedroom, fully dressed, and apologized for the incident. She said it was embarrassing and did not know anyone was home. I said it was okay and I should have told her I would be back early from the office when I came home. She asked me not to mention the incident to my wife. She said she felt embarrassed she walked around the hallway without clothes and that I saw her in that state. I said it's okay and let's forget about it. I have yet to tell my wife about the incident and it's been 5 days. It was just a benign incident, but I somehow feel guilty about the whole thing. I feel more guilty that I am lying to my wife by omission of the truth. However, I feel that if my wife takes it the wrong way, it may strain her relationship with Anna, and I really feel bad for Anna and what she had to go through. I also do not want to make Anna uncomfortable in our house by telling my wife about her barging into our bedroom in that state. Am I the AH in this case for not talking about this incident to my wife? I am afraid that if Anna tells it to her first, it will make me look really bad and guilty. However, if I tell her, I do not want her to blame Anna for any of this and not help her in this time of her need. Can someone please help me on how I can tell my wife about this? When I first saw the title to this post, I thought that the incident that was being referred to would have been something like OP sleeping with the friend. Personally, I think that OP is overthinking this and he should definitely tell his wife but not make it a big deal. I also do agree with some of the comments saying that this situation does have the potential to blow up in OP's face if he doesn't address it with his wife first. The very next day, OP gave us an update. I wrote a post yesterday about an embarrassing situation that happened between my wife's best friend, who is currently staying at our house. I was not sure how to bring it up with my wife, and you guys helped me understand the urgency of telling my wife. I also got some cool ideas on how to bring up the subject without making it awkward for anyone. For everyone saying Anna was doing it on purpose, I did not agree with it, as I am an extremely average-looking person and women don't chase me. However, things since last night have been crazy and I think I am spiraling a bit. Sorry for the long post. So I decided to tell my wife last night as soon as she came home about the incident. I liked the idea of jokingly bringing it up casually so that we both could laugh about it and then forget it. Last night when my wife came home, I made sure I stayed in our bedroom. I asked Anna if she could stay with my kid downstairs. As my wife was changing, I asked her if Anna still borrowed her clothes. Anna had to borrow them regularly when she first moved, but that's a long story. My wife told me yes and told Anna she could take anything from her closet if she needed it. I asked my wife if Anna told her about the funny incident from Friday. My wife said no, and I told her the whole story about how I came home early and Anna came in the room almost naked to get her clothes and how embarrassing it was for both of us. As my wife was listening to this, she completely froze and turned pale. She started murmuring in Spanish, which is her and Anna's native language. I don't understand Spanish well, but I understood the words hombre casado and otra vez. I asked her if she was okay, and she sat next to me and asked me to explain everything in detail. I just told her it was nothing and she must not have heard me coming in. I tried to laugh it off, but my wife had water in her eyes. I kept telling her it was not a big deal, but she kept asking me for more details. She asked me how Anna talked to me. I told her that Anna barely talked to me since she moved in, except for a few words here and there. My wife then asked me about 3 weeks ago when she visited her parents for 4 days. Anna did not want to go with her and stayed back. I told her that Anna was acting normal. She or I would cook dinner after I got home from work while the other took care of the kid. The only difference was that Anna generally spent her evening in her room. However, when I was sitting in the living room watching TV after the kids slept, Anna came and sat on the sofa next to me but did not talk to me. I asked her if she wanted me to change the channel or stream something she liked, and she just said she wanted to get out of her room. However, she did not flirt with me or do anything unusual. I kept on telling my wife that it was just an accident, and I really did not understand why she reacted so emotionally to it. My wife refused to answer and just said okay and agreed with me. However, she told me I should have told her about the incident sooner, should not keep any secrets from her, and gave me a big lecture. I told her that I did not think it was a big deal and thought Anna would tell her, but I'm glad I brought it up. After dinner, my wife messaged Anna to join us and she came out. While talking, my wife brought up the incident and told Anna that I had mentioned the incident and that she did not need to feel embarrassed. Such things happen when we are all in the same house, and it is not a big deal. Anna was surprised, but then told my wife she was just scared to tell her because she thought my wife would judge her because of her past. My wife gave her a stare and she quickly changed the topic. At night, I asked my wife what the hell was going on. I told her to please not keep any secrets from me, and if she does not tell me, I will directly ask Anna about what her past has got to do with anything. My first guess was Anna might have had a thing for me before we got married or something, but my wife was very reluctant to answer and kept on trying to change the subject and cuddle. However, I kept being persistent and she finally spilled the beans. Apparently, when Anna was in her early 20s, she was in a relationship with a married coworker who was twice her age. It was a kind of sugar daddy relationship, and he told her that he was in an open relationship, or at least that's what Anna told my wife. He said he would leave his wife in few years once the kids go to college. This makes sense now because Anna is very pretty, and I never understood why she was single for most of the time I knew her. She eventually ended that relationship and started dating her boyfriend Jim, who turned out to be an abusive AH. My wife said she suspects Anna was still involved with the older guy while in the relationship with Jim, which explains why he kept on accusing her of cheating. That is why my wife became emotional when I told her what Anna did, because she was worried Anna had no boundaries regarding married men. My wife said that Anna always looks up to us and praises me for being such a loyal partner and how lucky my wife is. My wife was initially worried when she brought Anna home, but her actions from when my wife was away clearly show that she respects the boundaries, and it must have been an accident. My wife told me she is grateful I let Anna live in our house and observe what a healthy and happy marriage looks like. This morning was even more weird. I got up early because I could not sleep well and went down for a cup of coffee. After 5 minutes, Anna walked into the kitchen and told me she was relieved my wife did not overreact to Friday's incident. She said I was a good husband and gave me a hug and a peck on the cheeks. She has never hugged me in the last 6 months. She seemed to be in a happy mood and was making small talk with me while having coffee. I cannot believe my wife had not told me such a huge detail about Anna for all these years. It's entirely possible she cheated all through the relationship with Jim and my wife is just covering for her all along. She even kept it a secret from me after giving me a lecture about how we should never have secrets. I don't know what else she is hiding. Everything just seems very confusing at this point. I feel angry at my wife for lying to me all these years for Anna. I also now see Anna differently. I'm also worried that my trivializing the incident to my wife might have sent the wrong signals to Anna. The final update was created 3 days from the time of this recording. After I posted the update, a lot of you advised me to tell my wife about Anna hugging and kissing me on the cheek the following morning. I felt uncomfortable with the situation and the comments really made me nervous. Most of you were reading my post as a telenovela or a start of a movie, and the comments were not helping calm me down. You may not like this part, but I just decided to get off Reddit for a while and try to think through how to tell my wife. I felt that my wife treated Anna as if she were family, just like her sisters. I have known my wife's sisters since they were in their early teens. I have had similar incidents happen with them all the time, and I never made a big deal out of it. We often had to tell them to keep their tops on when sitting in our backyard pool area when they were younger, and God knows how allergic they are to wearing pants around the house. However, I treat them as if they are my sisters. I decided to do the same with Anna and treat her like my wife's sisters. I also wanted to communicate that clearly to Anna and my wife so we don't get into such uncomfortable situations anymore. That night, I was talking to my wife and decided to put a positive spin on the incident that happened early in the morning. I asked my wife if she noticed anything different with Anna. I told her she woke up early with me today, greeted me with a hug and kiss, and helped me make breakfast. I told her I was glad she finally looked happy and was returning to her old self. I also told her how proud I was of my wife, that she is such a kind-hearted person who helped a friend in need. My wife seemed happy with my comment and started saying that she noticed Anna was chattier in the morning. She was cleaning her room and talking about applying for jobs again. I told my wife that I feel Anna is like one of her sisters, and I am happy she also considers us family and is comfortable around us. The next few weeks were great. Anna started waking up early in the morning around the time I woke up, which was 5 a.m. We always had coffee together and had nice chats. She also helped me with breakfast and getting lunch boxes ready. She asked me if she could join my gym and if I could teach her some resistance training exercises. Her therapist told her it would be good for her to work out. So we started going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week in the evening before picking up my son from daycare. Having a regular gym partner and someone to geek out with about the daily protein intake is nice. I also told her when we were cooking that she was so much less annoying than my sills and I wish she was my sill. She just smiled at the comment. Anna has already had a few interviews and contacted her old job, who seems interested in hiring her back. She told us 2 weeks ago that she would be looking for apartments. We already saw 2 apartments in our suburb and hopefully should finalize that soon. My wife jokingly told her that her dating prospects are going to be bleak if she stays in our suburb, but Anna told us that she is going to stay away from relationships at least for a while now and work on herself, plus she enjoys our gym and loves spending time with our son. About the hugging and kissing, I think I have decoded it. A hug from Anna is normal and I get one every morning. However, I think she kisses people on the cheeks as a way to say thank you. Things are really looking positive for Anna and we are very happy that she was able to get through a bad patch in her life. She had isolated herself from everyone after the incident 7 months ago. However, she plans to join my wife and son on her summer trip to my in-laws in a few weeks unless there are any updates on the employment front. I just hope the best for her and am glad that I did not make a big deal out of the situation. I am also glad to have such a kind and understanding wife who is there for her friend in need. I'm not sure if it's just me, but I feel like this situation did not get resolved at all. Sure, the family seems to be okay right now, but I can't help but feel that there are major red flags going off. I mean, OP's wife was concerned that OP saw Anna topless, but doesn't care if she kisses OP. I don't care if it's on the cheeks. I feel like that level of contact is way too far for someone of Anna and OP's relationship. One Reddit user named Sarah Lebowski made a comment that pretty accurately puts my thoughts into words. If this works out for you guys, that's great. For me, it's such a huge red flag that she wakes up the same time as you, joins the same gym as you, and wants to spend a lot of time with you. Plus, she is looking at places to rent near you. Maybe it's because I've seen too many stories like that end in a horrible way. Again, if it works out for you guys, it's great. To me, it's one red flag after another and seems like the start of something fishy. This is all made even worse now that we know Anna had a weird relationship with a man much older than her who intended on leaving his wife. Maybe it's not my place to judge, but surely there are other people out there who would think Anna is kind of scummy for basically being a homewrecker. And I know it's just speculation, but the possibility of her cheating on her ex seems so real now. At first, I was on Anna's side completely when I heard that her ex was abusing her, but now that I know she might have been cheating on him, I understand the violent outbursts. I am not excusing or condoning violence, but all I'm saying is that Anna is not completely without blame if she did indeed cheat. This next story was created just a few days ago in the Cheating Stories subreddit. It's titled, "Wife Gets the Clap and Tries to Blame Me. It Backfired Horribly." The post was created by user Perspective Hour 4496. I, 30 male, met my soon-to-be ex-wife, 25, at a call center we both started working for at the same time. Let's call her Taylor for this story. On our first day, she was 20 minutes late and came in carrying what I could only assume to be most of her world at the time with her. And instantly I knew I would marry this woman. She was gorgeous and sweet, round in all the right places, and we had much in common, from music taste to books, movies, and even games we enjoyed. Our intimate life was fiery, passionate, and exploratory. I truly believed in this person being my one. Fast forward 6 years and we're married with one child. We'll call him Arthur. Arthur brought us very close, and we both had issues in our professional lives finding things we enjoyed. I myself would stay employed and constantly look for better opportunities to keep a roof over our heads, food in our bellies, and clothes on our backs. Taylor did not work for the first 3 years of our marriage, and we struggled. We were evicted from 2 homes. One was because we shared an apartment with her sister, and she spent all of the rent money 3 months in a row. We were young and foolish and trusted the wrong family member. The second was because she had started working for a short while. Eventually, we had enough to find a place and get out of my parents' place. They were more than gracious enough to let us move in until I could get us back on our feet, even though my soon-to-be ex wouldn't lift a finger to help cook, clean, or pay any of the bills until this point. She immediately quit her job without telling me, thinking I would get a third job with my second, which I actually did. I have done food delivery freelance as a duo with my father, and we would spend whole weeks and weekends practically working a third job. It was too late, however. Speaking with my brother, who works as a welder for a large company, about the situation and asked for advice on what to do, as he had always served to be better with money than me. However, I always made sure we had what we absolutely needed, even if it meant I had to work 20 hours a day to get it. My brother and his wife offered us a room in their apartment, as his wife preferred their newborn to sleep in the same room as them in a bassinet. I got a job as a forklift driver at my brother's company and started making good money. My wife at the time got a similar job but with a different company, and within 1 month stopped receiving paychecks but was gone all day as though she was at work. COVID is hitting the US at this time and tests are in short supply. She tells us she believes she has it but cannot get a test to confirm. We have to isolate for 2 weeks. My family, my brothers, and our company did not pay us for this time. We each lost up to 30 hours of overtime on top of our regular 40. I came to find out that my wife had gotten fired for not showing up. When we found out, my brother confronted me and told me this was against the rules that we agreed to when he first extended help. If either of us quit or lost our jobs, we would be out. I agreed, as I thought this would be a no-brainer and a driving force to help my wife join the workforce. I wanted her to learn that it is normal to have to work. I had never had to kick somebody out of my home before, and certainly never a romantic partner. It was one of the hardest decisions I ever made for what I believed was for the betterment of my family. It started with me asking, and then I told her she broke the agreement and had to leave. She was about 5 months pregnant at this time, and I planned to convince her to stay with her parents so I could keep working and save up enough money to get a modular home. She agreed reluctantly. I could tell she was hurt, but she put me in this position where I felt there was no other choice. This would help us achieve our goals. All I wanted was to give her the life I believed she deserved at the time. This was my mistake and what I believe she used to justify her further actions. I had been saving for months at this point, and my higher paying wage was really paying off. To prevent my wife from being irresponsible with the finances again, my brother and I arranged for half of the rent I paid him to go into an envelope. After 9 months of saving, I estimated I should have just over $6,500. I began the process of searching for a mobile home to rent or own. I found one, showed it to my wife, and we agreed that it was perfect. We had everything we needed for the time to welcome our child into the world. This brings us to when things truly began to derail unbeknownst to me. I sacrificed so much for this love that I passionately fed, fanned, cherished, worshipped, and desired. I had reached a point in my life where I was now going to be a father, and my dreams of having a family and being a present educational parent and husband were beginning to be realized. What I didn't know is my sister-in-law didn't know of the arrangement, so she thought all the money was theirs and proceeded to buy every Jeffree Star makeup palette released within the year, before effectively using all but $220 of my $6,500. I was furious, irate, upset, and embarrassed. Once again, I had learned I had trusted the wrong person, and with this omen that flew right over my head, I did not see what was happening. Fast forward 2.5 years. We live with my parents again. Arthur is born and is going to turn 3 this summer. It is January. My wife asks me to take her to the ER for what she thinks is a really bad UTI or yeast infection. It was neither of those. She had chlamydia. I walk into my home after a 12-hour shift the next morning, not having heard the results yet, to be berated by both her and my mother, accusing me of cheating. Right now, I will state this. I have never went outside the boundaries of my marriage or entertained the attention of another woman in any way. I was head over heels for this woman who I believe to be so perfect. I will admit that I am not perfect. There were times when my words were sharper than intended. I am a very straightforward and blunt person, and she struggled with this sometimes as she had many unresolved traumas from growing up in the foster system. My attitude could have been better sometimes, and I needed more time to learn patience. I know I am not without fault, and I take accountability for my shortcomings as a husband and father. I tried to grow from them every day, even if the steroids taken sometimes were smaller or larger than others. With that said, the beratement began with my mother telling me I had royally messed up. My wife started walking and screaming the phrase, "Who is she? Who is your I was completely blindsided. Never would I have imagined of all things the clap would have come to my home. She immediately pressed us to go get tested. I agreed. Knowing I hadn't done anything, I now had absolute confirmation she had stepped out on me at some point, but when or with who, I did not know. Some things started adding up. I thought back to a moment a few months before our anniversary, and I had asked if she would like to get dolled up and go out to dinner and maybe go for a drive or a long walk together. I remember she looked me dead in the eyes, and with the most ice I have ever heard in a woman's voice, she said, "I will never get dolled up because you want me to." I had noticed her makeup was being used up, but I couldn't recall her wearing any, and she was always needing more. Oh, how blind and stupid I am. Once we arrived at a local care center, we quickly explained what was happening. We filled out a questionnaire and waited. My wife requested a separate female physician. This hurt, knowing that she was really going to pull out all the stops to frame me this way. She was not simply giving up on this charade and peacefully talk like adults. My physician came in and inspected me. They told me I showed no signs, but that urine samples were the best and most effective test. After this, they had me join my wife in her room with her physician. Both she and the nurse glared at me the entire time as my wife uncontrollably sobbed. Turning the waterworks on so bad, she broke out in hives. I'd never seen her this way before. I was terrified. My life I had sacrificed so much for was kindling to the bonfire that would eventually burn this forsaken and murdered passion to the ground. Both the physician and nurse spoke to me in accusatory tones the entire visit, saying things to her like, "Don't worry, soon enough, you'll be able to get past this with proof." The proof shocked them. 2 years leading up to this, my wife had been rejecting most of my advances for intimacy, chalking it up to postpartum depression, which I was 1000% understanding of. I would try to initiate, but not too much, as I didn't want her to feel disrespected. I just wanted to worship her the way I knew best and reconnect a bond that had been patiently waiting to be reignited. The next day comes. I'm negative. She's negative. Strange. I asked if we could go again after I got home from work to get a physical copy to look into what may have gone wrong with the hospital test she took alone, as I thought something serious may still be wrong with her intimate areas. She said it wasn't necessary. We had what we needed and we were past it. I pressed again and emphasized that I wanted this to happen. Then she lost it, screaming at me over the phone on my lunch break saying, "I'm positive. There, you heard what you wanted. Are you happy?" I was dumbstruck. She had tried to lie to me and hide the fact that she was still positive. I immediately requested 2 more tests over a month and a prescription for both of us to take care of this and prevent any more harm. By this time, she realized her game was up with me. I told her she had 1 day to move out and into her mom's place, and that I'll take Arthur 3 days a week. I couldn't do more as my job had me up at 4 a.m. and I wouldn't get home until 5 p.m. I always asked to talk to him on the phone, see if I could take him for lunch or take him for a full day. We agreed on this for 1 month, to see how we felt about everything. She had not admitted to anything, no matter how hard I pressed her. In an appointment with her OBGYN, she was begging, pleading desperately for an answer to how this could have happened in a monogamous marriage. The looks of dread in the eyes of the staff when they looked at me, seeing the embarrassment they felt for me, it broke me. Still, she clings to the lie that nothing happened and that she just magically contracted chlamydia. We go home and I suggest couple therapy in hopes it may get her to open up. Maybe I thought she was worried that I might lose it when she confessed and do something horrible. This train of thought hurt deeper than any other part of this whole ordeal, but made the most sense. I'd never been a violent man. I never laid a finger on her, even in a playful way that could be misinterpreted. She didn't come right out and say it, but assumed this was the most logical explanation at the time. Our therapy session comes around and she cancels the day of. We reschedule. This process repeated 3 times before I decided it was time to cut my losses. I start planning. In 6 months, if I cannot get it out of her, I will kick her out. I confide in the only friend I have, who happens to be female. She is nothing more than a friend to me. My best friend died this same year, and this girl is the mother of his children. We were all very good friends, so I would ask her for a female perspective from time to time about things. My wife had hills she would choose to die on that I didn't understand in arguments, or these little mannerisms I wanted to be able to effectively understand so I could try to be empathetic and not narrow-minded. My wife went through my phone one night, found our conversation, and blew up at me, saying I was cheating again and she couldn't trust me. I told her right there that she had one last chance to admit what had happened or we were done for good, as all the evidence staunchly supports my claim of innocence in all of this. Innocence of infidelity, that is, not of being vulnerable or weakened of heart through this painful experience. Later that night, when I pick her up from work, she tells me that it was when she moved in with her parents. After my brother made me kick her out, she went to a friend's and he said assaulted her, not taking no for an answer when she wanted to leave. Please keep in mind, I do not victim blame, shame, or try to discredit anyone who has claims of SA, as I was also a victim at a young age. But things didn't add up. This would have taken place 3 months before my son was born. In my state, when babies are born, both mom and baby must take an STI test as well as mom during OB visits up to birth. And while symptoms can lay dormant, my physician explained it would show up regardless. Mom and baby were clean at birth. No chlamydia, which means she lied to me again. I was devastated at the realization that she still wanted to hide the truth. I still don't know everything that happened, but for a while, I was utterly broken by this. How was I not worthy and some other people were? Even after all the sacrifices I had made, was I not in the least bit deserving of the love I had poured out in return? How could it have come to this? I felt empty, hollow, like a milkweed whose seeds had been caught by the wind and blown away. Months later, she finally confessed she just wanted me because I would commit, give her a child, which is all she wanted me for, and then be with whatever men she wanted, knowing I would be a good father. She used me for what many men believe to be the most sacred purpose in life. I love my son, but sometimes it does hurt to know he was a token for her to gain and then cast me aside when my usefulness to her was completed. At this point, Arthur is my top priority. I work 14-hour days to provide as a single father through 2 jobs. All my money issues are solved and I've paid off all my debts, aside from a couple I'm actively working on. Initially, when we separated, I wanted revenge. I installed apps to try to do this, and after having multiple prospects and beginning conversations, I realized this was not who I was. I am not a fling kind of person, and intimacy is a bond-building sacred moment for lovers to share, whether vanilla or explorative. One of these ladies, I quickly realized, had been really engaging in our conversations. She told me she'd like to continue our conversations and maybe meet up. This actually kind of overwhelmed me. Thoughts rushed through my mind of our conversations the last few weeks. But I realized that I didn't want to hurt anybody by rushing into something blindly with nothing but revenge on my mind, as that would only make me as low as my ex. But I really wanted to try with this girl. This lady is so dumb. She didn't think that blaming her husband would have inadvertently revealed that she had cheated on him at some point. If we give OP the benefit of the doubt and trust that he had never cheated, then the STD could only have been a result of his wife sleeping with another man. And I actually had no idea that the clap was a nickname for chlamydia before reading this. I feel really bad for OP when he was asking himself why he wasn't worthy and some other random guy was. That's because you married a whore. Straight up. According to OP, she even explicitly said that she only married OP for his resources and his capability of being a father. I really hate saying this because I think it's kind of cringe to say this kind of thing, but it genuinely feels like OP was looked to as a nice guy and got played because of it. I have major respect for him though for wanting to still take care of Arthur, and I'm also glad he has found someone that he may be able to love again. OP didn't give us a ton of specific information prior to getting married to this woman, just that he sort of fell in love at first sight. But based on that brief text saying that his wife didn't want to work, I automatically assumed she came from a spoiled and privileged background. It takes an insane man to voluntarily dive into that, thinking he can come out unscathed and happy. I really hope none of that came across as victim blaming. It wasn't meant to be taken that way. OP is a great man and a great father. Just sucks that oftentimes it's the best people who get the worst in life. Same thing with the woman that OP met towards the end. She was being strung along and was stuck in a 3-year battle to separate. But based on OP's words, she seems like an amazing woman.